On a quiet December evening in 1945, 5 U.S. Navy bombers lifted off from Florida. None of them knew they were flying straight into the most famous disappearance in aviation history. 27 airmen, 5 aircraft, 1 routine training mission that vanished into thin air. And what happened next only deepened the mystery. The rescue planes sent to find them also disappeared. Today, we dive into the chilling case of Flight 19. The disappearance that shook the world and birthed the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit subscribe, because today's story is one of the most baffling wartime mysteries ever recorded. But before we begin, ask yourself, can 5 experienced crews, with full radio contact and fuel, really just disappear? Let's find out. It was December 5, 1945, just a few months after World War II had ended. At 2:10 p.m., 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers lined up on the runway at Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station. This wasn't a combat mission. It wasn't dangerous. Just a simple navigation training run, something hundreds of pilots had done before. The group was now known as Flight 19. Their leader was Lieutenant Charles Taylor, a highly experienced pilot with hundreds of flight hours. The rest were young trainees, but well trained and confident. The weather was good. Visibility excellent. Fuel tanks full. Everything suggested an easy 2-hour flight. But within minutes of takeoff, something went terribly wrong. The first sign of trouble came around 3:45 p.m., when radio operators heard a shaky, tense voice. "This is FT-28. We can't find west. Everything looks wrong, strange." That was Lieutenant Taylor. He reported that his compass wasn't working. Moments later, another pilot said his compass had also failed. 2 compasses, failing at the same time? In clear weather? Radio operators were confused. One asked, "What is your position?" Taylor replied, "We are not sure. We must have got lost after the last turn." Last turn. The ocean doesn't look right. The ocean doesn't look right? What did he mean? Were they seeing something unusual on the water? A storm? A mirage? Something else? We still don't know. But soon, the situation worsened. Taylor believed they were flying over the Florida Keys, far off course. In reality, they were likely near the Bahamas, but he didn't believe it. So he made a fatal decision. "We will fly northeast until we reach land." But northeast would take them deeper into the Atlantic Ocean. The trainees protested. They said their compasses still worked. They begged him to turn west. But military protocol required them to follow the leader. And so, 5 planes continued flying away from safety. At 5:50 p.m., radio operators heard the last clear message. "We'll fly 270 degrees until fuel runs out." Lieutenant Taylor. That was west. For a moment, it seemed they still had a chance. But then, storms began forming. Winds picked up. Visibility dropped. Static filled the radio. And then one final transmission. "It looks like we're entering white water. We're completely lost. Everything is wrong. We may have to ditch." And suddenly, silence. 5 aircraft. 9 hours of fuel. 27 trained airmen. Gone. Not a single parachute spotted. No debris. No oil slick. Nothing. But this is not the most terrifying part. Within minutes, the Navy scrambled a rescue crew. A giant PBM Mariner aircraft equipped for long ocean searches. It took off at 7:27 p.m. with 13 men on board. But just 20 minutes after takeoff, it also disappeared. Witnesses saw a bright flash over the ocean. Some believe the Mariner exploded mid-air due to a known fuel leak problem. Others believe it suffered the same fate as Flight 19. Either way, now 40 men were missing. 2 disappearances. Same area. Same night. For 5 days, hundreds of planes and ships scanned over 200,000 square miles of sea. The Navy said this was the largest peacetime search in U.S. history. And yet, not one piece of Flight 19 was ever found. Not a wing, not a seat, not a life jacket, nothing. This led to theories, and some are shocking. Here are the most discussed possibilities. 1. Compass failure. But all 5? At the same time? 2. Weather anomaly. Some claim a rare weather